Hello there, and welcome to one of the mini seminars in the seminar series for Spiritualism New Zealand. My name is Kim Chamberlain, and I'm on the board of Spiritualism New Zealand. And today I have the great pleasure of talking to Claire Laurenson. Now, Claire is based in the Wellington region of New Zealand, and she's been involved in spirituality and exploring spirituality for many, many years, and has recently started running workshops on the topic. So good to have you here. Welcome, Claire.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, let's start off. What is spirituality?
Well, I think the answer is personal to each person, but I'm happy to share some ideas I've put together.
Great, go for it.
So all of the quotes I'm going to use today are from the readings of Silver Birch, which were writings recorded from the spirit called Silver Birch, who channeled through the same human for 60 years. It was a book I read this year that really validated a lot of things for me. So I'll start with a few of his quotes. Whatever lives does so because it is spirit. Spirit is life, life is spirit. Spirit is the mainspring of existence. Body, mind, and spirit, three aspects of the one total self, not divisible. So reading the Spiritualism New Zealand newsletter recently, I found a lovely description. It is something bigger than us, involves forces outside of us, and has more perspectives than it does absolute truths. Psychology Today says spirituality is a broad concept that can involve a belief in God, non-religious experience, or search for meaning. Many people today identify as spiritual but not religious, and I recently saw an image depicting the difference between the two, which I quite liked. So spirituality was the fish in the ocean. Religion was the fish in the fishbowl in the ocean.
Now that's interesting.
Silver Birch says the highest religion is service. I asked a minister friend of mine, what is spirituality? And she said, understanding universal laws and how to live by them. This year, I facilitated several workshops on exploring spirituality with different groups and asked the same question, and their answers were wide-ranging. Do you want to hear some of we did brainstorming. Do you want to hear some of the answers to that?
That would be wonderful.
All right, I'm just going to have to turn my face this way. Growth, creativity, resolving conflict, kindness, awareness, development, reconnection to past, acceptance, truth, all there is, peace, energy, being, hope, fairness, love, faith, oneness, expansion, learning, connection, equality, nature, service, openness, unselfishness, philosophy, tolerance, compassion, non-judgment, belief, vibration.
Wow.
So that was from a group of 6 people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So spirituality can mean whatever you want it to mean, different things to different people.
But
Yeah.
all positive.
Yeah. Yes. Uplifting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Carry on.
That's kind of it for what
That
is
was it.
spirituality.
That was a lot.
Oh no, hold on. I missed myself here. So my spirituality is an inside job. It's a yearning to know and understand more about myself more deeply, make sense of my life and purpose here, endeavoring to be the best version of myself, acknowledging that I'm a work in progress, not perfection. It's fluid and evolving. So it's an ongoing process for me.
Yes.
Until the day I die. That's how I
Yes.
see it.
You don't ever learn it fully, do you?
No, and I don't think it's something that can be taught. I think it's something we seek.
Mm.
Yes, and we might get the answers from all manner of things in life. Yeah, yeah,
True. That's very
yeah,
true. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, just to add to that,
yeah.
that's exactly what I feel, the part you said where helps you make sense of life. Once I
Mm.
learned about spirituality, then life made sense.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, yeah. It provides a bigger picture.
Mm.
Yeah, it provides a context, doesn't it? Of
For what's happening in life.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So, do you think there might be any barriers that people might encounter on their journey to spirituality?
Of course, we're human. So close-mindedness,
Yeah.
prejudices, and the unconscious biases we all have, what we're not even aware of. So the question I asked in my workshop to get people thinking about some of that was, what influences have shaped where you are today in terms of your spirituality? And they may have been beneficial or detrimental, but they still coloured your point of view.
Mm.
So so we did an activity and participants found it really helpful mapping this out on paper to look at. So we talked about the influences, and then they made a map really of their own life and what's influenced their journey. So some of the things we talked about was family,
Hmm. Yeah.
upbringing, ancestors, culture, societal norms, what was acceptable at the times, social roles, so the roles of men, women,
Mm.
political landscape, what we were allowed to do, and or yeah, what was not allowed to be done. Um, so that comes into the, spiritualism being acceptable by a law being
Mm.
passed. That's part of the political landscape.
Mm.
Still experiences, traumatic events, spiritual experiences, our own or others, who we associate with, significant people, stages of life, and so on. So, life really, it's huge in terms of but it's getting people to think about some of those key things that have helped
Mm.
shape their thinking and their belief system. Mm,
Mm. I hadn't realized there would be so many, actually. I mean, now that you've said them all, it
yeah.
makes sense, but I hadn't realized there could be
Mm.
so many.
And there's more, but
Probably,
that's
yes.
that's kind of what we're working with. Yeah. Whatever shows itself, really.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot there to unpack.
isn't there? There is.
I think not seeing, listening to the signs. When we feel like we're hitting our head against a brick wall, or things aren't working out the way we want them to, even, no matter how hard we try, or we're trying to force our will on someone to get our own way. Well, the message is clear. We're just not listening or paying attention.
Mm. Yeah.
And I was reminded recently in the workshop of the acronym for ego, which is edging God out.
Oh.
And ego gets in the way of us being real and authentic.
Mm.
Yeah.
It can do. Yeah,
And
it can do.
I don't think we can I think spirituality requires authenticity.
Mm.
Yeah. What else? Fear.
Mm.
Yeah. Fear of the unknown,
Yeah.
fear of change, uh, uncertainty, fear of
Fear of being
judgment.
different.
Different?
Fear of being different.
Yeah. Yes.
If those
People's
around you
opinion.
are not. Yeah.
Yeah. Overthinking,
Mm.
controlling behavior. Silver Birch says fear is the child of ignorance.
Mm.
And what we don't know or understand, we may fear, but once we have the knowledge, there's nothing to fear. And I can relate that to my introduction into spiritualism, is that I had some very old messages there that that were limiting me, if you like. And I made a decision that I would proceed, but I would go cautiously and slowly at my own pace. And that worked fine.
Mm,
Those fears were overcome as I practiced. Yeah, they're not there anymore.
lovely,
Yeah, yeah.
lovely. Yeah.
What else? Oh, here's a few quotes I really liked of his. Fear is the shadow, it is not the reality.
Mm, that's
Mm,
interesting.
mm. Fear blocks the channels through which help can come.
Mm,
So if we're full of fear, we're not going to be listening anyway, are we?
mm,
Yeah. And for me, faith is the antidote to fear. So it's finding something to have faith in, something to believe in. And you can have faith in yourself. You can have faith that the sun will rise tomorrow. Have faith that things will get better. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
high and lofty. Yeah.
exactly.
You just start where you're at.
Yeah. And now you can take tiny steps forward at any point in your life.
What was that?
You can take tiny steps forward at
Yeah.
any point in your life.
Yeah. One step at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's manageable? Yeah. Yeah. You set the pace. I think that's
Mm.
probably an important point. Important point I didn't actually think about was the pace. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever pace suits you. I mean, I jumped in boots and all. Once I'd found it, it's like, I've been waiting all my life for this and I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
So everybody's different. We're all on a continuum of how
Yeah.
quickly or how slowly we go.
Yeah. So no hesitation on your part.
None, because I didn't know I'd been waiting for it, but then I found it and I went, whoa, this is it.
This
This
is
is what
me.
I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful. How
yeah,
neat.
it
Yeah.
was. So what do you think can help people develop their spirituality?
Ooh, lots of things. Being curious and interested in people in life, asking questions, finding out what other people think,
Mm.
finding people you trust to ask for guidance if needed, being connected to something greater than self, which is one of the definitions of spirituality, might mean family, community, nature, or God. Keep it simple. For starters, God can mean good orderly direction.
Oh,
You haven't heard that one
no,
before?
I haven't.
Okay. It's a recovery phrase, because you got to start with where you're at.
Mm.
And a good orderly direction, maybe that's achievable, whereas another definition might not be. Yep.
Mm. True.
Yeah. Um, Exploring avenues that spark your interest or curiosity. This is probably how I operate. So it's like, oh, that looks interesting, or oh, that sounds interesting. What's that about? And then I go and find out, and that
Yeah, yeah.
adds to my knowledge and vocabulary. So it could be sacred texts, it could be philosophy, religion, mindfulness, meditation, literature, art, music, science, the cosmos. I think if you delve deeply into anything, you find answers,
You do. You
the
find
big, the
interesting
big
stuff.
answers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Observing life through people in the natural world, I think the answers are all there.
Mm.
So an example of that is that I create a garden wherever I live because being amongst nature and beauty is important to me. In return, I get physical activity, fresh air and light, which supports my well-being and sleep. I get grounding through the earth, practice at being mindful because I have to be present in what I'm doing so I don't fall over or,
Mm.
injure myself. I'm connected to life cycles through the seasons. I use my creativity in designing, and I've created a beautiful place of respite that nurtures my soul and restores balance.
Lovely.
Yeah. So there's the law of compensation and action. What you reap, what
Mm.
you sow.
Mm.
Every effort you make brings results, whatever those efforts are. And
Mm.
so what I give to my garden is my time, energy, and love, and I am rewarded tenfold.
Wow.
It's abundance, and
Yeah.
that's a really practical way of seeing spirituality in practice, if you like.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take action. Practice your practice, whatever it is. Try out different ones. start with one and just add on slowly. I think, it's a bit like the weight loss New Year resolution. We make these grand plans, but we can't actually follow through or stick with them. So I think, like you said before, baby steps, do what seems manageable and that you will stick to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's that repetition, isn't it? It builds, the practice builds. Yes. Open-mindedness, being willing to consider new ideas or practices. Too often we dismiss them without even trying things out. And don't take someone else's word for it. Check it out for yourself. And it's okay. It took me a long time to learn this one in terms of looking at different faiths and teachings. I always used to think it was a default setting in myself that I wasn't able to commit to any one. But what I came to with that was I'll just take what I want and leave the rest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And that's what's built my spirituality. And it was like, oh, phew, that's so much easier. Yeah. So it's okay to do that. I think that, again, that's about being real. It's not just following or accepting what you're told. It's knowing it for yourself, really. Yeah. So Silver Birch, again, has got a lovely quote around that. So the truths of the spirit can be tested by your reason, intelligence, and experience. You are not puppets. You have the ability to judge, to decide, to reflect, to form your own opinions, and to be guided by the experiences that come your way.
Nice.
I love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So be willing to let go of old ideas, beliefs, and practices if they're no longer serving you. If it's unreasonable to your reason, dismiss it. And it's okay to change our mind about what we think and believe. We're evolving. Yeah, things change. As we are learning in this world, things are changing a lot frequently at the moment. And
at the moment,
causing a
very
lot of
much.
distress for people.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when undergoing change like this, take it slowly and be kind and gentle to yourself. I think one of my favourite sayings is the mainland cheese ad about the making of aged cheddar, which is good things take time. They do.
They do.
And integrating change in our thinking and belief does take time and work. Yeah, it's no small task.
But the rewards are enormous.
Yes.
Just enormous. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What spirituality can give to you is just enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was anyway, I'll come back to that. So Silver Birch says the things of the spirit cannot be accelerated beyond their natural growth. In other words, everything has its own time. Be patient. Yeah. So I think for me, the aging process has been part of my developing spirituality as well. There's a reason for every season in life. And I think this latter end for me is about the richness of spirit. Yeah. Whereas, in my 30s, it was about childbearing and reproduction and nurturing and all that. That's all over now. So it's a different phase of life and I love it. I love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And there's younger people coming through now who get it from the beginning, from when they're born. They get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. That blows me away sometimes.
Oh, they newer children coming down are very different to people who have come down previously. And they're
Yes.
coming through a lot more connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes look at my kids and think, oh, this stuff. It's taken me a lifetime to get to it.
That's right. That's right.
But I think
But we got there.
is smarter than the last. And that says it should be because we're all evolving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I will mention here is a free e-booklet that I will put a link to below. It's called Becoming Spiritual, and 32 members of Spiritualism New Zealand shared their spiritual journey. So for those who are just starting out and you might want to find out potentially what the journey might be like, yours of course may be very different, but I'll put the link to that ebook below. It's very, very interesting, people's journeys.
Yeah. How's the time?
We've got a couple more minutes, so could you just tell us a bit about your work then?
Well, now I've just turned the page. I see there's more material I've written. Do you want to hear it or
I
not?
do want to hear it,
I
yes.
am. So, developing intuition,
Oh, yes.
connecting to our inner guidance. So, trust your gut when deciding if something's right or not.
Mm,
That's been one of my lessons,
mm,
is learning to trust it. Does it feel right? So, I know the head can rationalize anything, but feelings are a good indicator. So the body is an intelligent mechanism, and today's world, the head and intellect dominates, but the heart and the feeling aspect of ourselves also informs us. So for balance, exercise both.
mm.
I think, yeah,
True.
it,
True.
it's
Yes.
using both.
Yes.
Notice the signs, promptings, and synchronicities. When things flow easily, doors open, the path made clear, you meet who you need to meet, you hear what you need to hear. I take this as confirmation I'm on the right track. And as I
Mm.
say this, I'm getting goosebumps going through me,
Nice.
which always tells me I'm on the right
That's
track.
right. That's your
Yeah.
intuition. Yeah.
And I think also it's important to acknowledge those moments and give thanks, encouraging more of the same.
Mm.
It's noticing, acknowledging. And
Yeah.
I find the more I do that, the more I get. The more
And the
you,
gratitude is important. Yeah.
and here's one that might go for a lot of people, and that is that suffering.
Oh,
Suffering can activate that divine spark within. And I love what Silver Birch has to say about that. In reality, your troubles are your greatest friends. They are the means by which you find yourself.
yes.
Handicaps and obstacles are all part of the necessary preparation for an evolving, developing spiritual nature.
Mm.
And more poetically, a storm can do more to help you unfold spiritually than the sun.
Nice.
I can certainly attest to that in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
It takes time to see that though, doesn't it? Find the silver lining in life's hardest times.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we bring through our own challenges. We've chosen what challenges we want, but we've also brought through the wherewithal to be able to deal with them. So, in theory, when a challenge appears, we should say, great, here it is. It's what I planned, and here it is. And I can learn and grow from this.
Well, I can't say I respond like that at the time.
No, don't. But
But
I get it.
later, having learnt some lessons, I think, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh
why.
yeah. I wouldn't
Yeah,
be who I am today without that. But
exactly.
it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now I'm done. Thanks.
Okay, tell us about your work then.
Oh, okay. So I do grief work. I do support and education, training, memory making, facilitating, yeah, all sorts. Anything related to loss and grief, trauma. I have a creative side to that too, around the memory making, which is about, honoring those who have gone. What else? And I guess as I've moved more into the spiritual side of life now, I'm running some workshops on exploring spirituality,
Mhm.
and I did 4 in the last couple of months, and I'd like to do more of that and reach a wider audience, and I'd also like to develop them and go a bit deeper. So that's part of my plan
Mhm.
for 2025.
Wonderful. So if people are interested, you're happy for me to put your contact details below?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I should also just give a quick sound out to a beautiful grief resource I created during lockdown called the Grief Relief Kit,
Mm.
which is offering a different kind of support for people going through change, loss, grief. Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you,
Thank
Kim.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Claire. This has been fascinating. It's the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
Yes.
Just the tip of the iceberg. But for those who are starting out, it's a useful pointer just to get the overall picture of what you might be letting yourself in for. But certainly, from my own experience, it's a wonderful, wonderful journey that opens worlds that I think I described it as Narnia to somebody once you've stepped through the doors and there's other worlds there that can provide so much to you.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, Claire. It's been
Thanks
great.
for the opportunity. Cheers.